Well, it's only the matter of time that we can able to actually just to stop Dr. Wily for the 4th time for this marathon, and we can able to expect that we can able to actually take down even more bosses than ever before. So that means we've now got ourselves our proper full-length levels, in particular for the sake of the forms of the Dr. Wily spaceship. Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Silver the Hedgehog here, and once again, I am back for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy. So, last time, we did manage to able to take down the forms of, not only, we did manage to take down the 4th and the final member when it comes to the forms of the Mega Man Killers, which appears to be buddy forms of Ballade. And also, on top of all that stuff though, we also beat the likes of the forms of the Satellite Cannon. And on top of all that stuff though, we did manage to deal with the forms of the, might be, potentially speaking, the 4 Robot Masters based off from Mega Man 5 on the console game. So because of that though, yeah, everything else will be expected, all things considered. So today, this will be the grand finale in terms of Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy, and because of that, we're now approaching onto the forms of, let's just say, this stage is actually called Wily Station. So because of that, though, I just want to classify that, especially noticeable thanks to the forms of that particular Wikipedia, based off on the likes of Mega Man. So, yeah, to be expected, there might be some tough challenges here and there, and especially noticeable about the fact that, well, thankfully we've actually got ourselves plentiful of the forms of those. Well, I don't think we can able to actually just guarantee that we might not gonna use the forms of too many emphasis on energy tanks as much, but hopefully though, as soon as we're able to actually get towards the very end of this particular segment, then obviously I'll try to able to actually use the energy tank as much as I can. So, while trying to able to actually just dodge a lot of those enemies, specifically with Sniper Joes with their aircrafts and all that jazz, but thankfully though, we can able to actually just to slide and well, hope for the best, trying to able to dodge everything, because as far as I'm aware, oh, okay, so no need for energy tanks then, because thankfully the health pickup was actually there. I'm guessing it's mainly because there was actually a boss coming up. So in this case, here we have the forms of, I would say, a bridge. So basically, in order to able to deal with this fight, I'm presuming that the weakness of this boss is none other than Beat the Bird itself. So yeah, what Beat the Bird functions as in this game, basically he plays out exactly like the forms of how it does it in Mega Man 5 for the NES. That basically, if you're trying to able to be super cautious with everything, and thus because of this though, Beat the Bird actually rocks and he designates bosses. So, huzzah, and also pretty badass at the same time. So as a result though, kudos to you, Beat the Bird, because you are certainly the most helpful companion I've ever come across after the events of Mega Man 5 for the NES. So now we're done with that segment, and now it's going to move on to the next part, where basically, as usual, more platforming here and there, and on top of all that stuff though, we can able to expect that we can able to actually come across into another boss in the latest point in time, so we can able to expect this much. So yeah, today's day is of course the, oh, there's an energy tank right there, so I think I should probably able to bring out my Ring Boomerang with us, so that, although I did sadly, jump over the letter, the small E item by complete accident, but that's perfectly fine by me, because obviously we've actually got every single energy tank to spare. So at the very least, there's nothing we can worry about this for the time being, so at the very least we can able to actually just be perfectly safe from now on. So anyways, let's go ahead and just continue things on for this level. So now suppose, actually, is the fact that today's day is of course the 13th of August today, in this case in 2022 today. So in this case, for those of you who lived in the UK, that Disney Pixar film called Brave has now officially become a decade old. Mind you, it already become a decade old ever since in due forms of in America for about a couple of months ago. So I've no idea why that the UK release managed to able to get it later compared to America. God knows why, but it knows what it is. So, but I digress. And for what I've watched that film again after the events of you know, when that film is now officially been out for about, you know, 10 years old at this point, it was okay. I mean, it's nothing remarkable or anything. I mean, on the upside is though, it did start something a little bit different compared to the forms of how it does it in any other films for that matter. Speaking of such though, oh, hello. We have ourselves our familiar friend, Brother Man. And then after that though, we also got ourselves the glorious, you know, extra life as well as the actual health reveal. Although there are a few rare occasions that basically he'll try to able to actually give you something completely random, like it could be either be an extra life, or a health pickup, or weapon reveal part, or potentially speaking, the S item, which the S item does. This allows you that think of like the forms of the mystery tank from the likes of the Mega Man 5 for the NES. Basically, this allows you to not only fill up your health completely, but also it refills the actual weapon and weapon energy as well. So yeah, it is very similar to the forms of the Mega Man 5 for the NES basically, except, well, the only backwards thing about this is the fact that every time, you know, like I said, if you try to able to actually just to do, you know, a charged up Mega Buster, and if you somehow let go, you back up a little bit, which can be a bit bothersome for me, but it does take some bit of time to get used to, I must say for this point right now. So of course we have ourselves the mini fights going on around here, so in this case though we have to deal with the forms of, well, this particular one-eyed looking weird object, which conveniently enough though, he does manage to have himself the actual health bar and stuff like that, but regardless of such though, we can just simply take him down no problem by utilizing the forms of that particular... I actually gotta think about it, that this name of this particular boss we're fighting against is actually known as Hunter. So basically though, is the fact that, well, it does have its weakness though, by simply able to utilize the forms of the Pharaoh Shot, but ultimately though, I simply done the actual hard way by doing with the forms of the Mega Buster, so at the very least that's that, so yeah, at this point in time is the fact that this particular level is going to get much more longer than the forms of how it does it on any other Dr. Wily Capsule stages every once in a while. So I guess that might be something like a good thing on my book. Especially noticeable because, oh jeez, that was so close. In fact, if I somehow managed to able to get hit by that particular enemy, as you probably already noticed I just got hit, then obviously I'm gonna have to able to go back into the beginning portion of that segment. Although, luckily though, just like in the previous games, I'm pretty sure anyway, that every time you defeat the boss, basically you get yourself a checkpoint if you somehow manage to able to defeat one of those bosses. So, I guess it's a good thing. So, oh, there's another extra life up there too. So in this case, let's go ahead and bring the ring boomerang and grab it from there. So, at the very least, I'm pretty much astonished with that. So, anyway, it's time to bring out Rush Jet with us, so we can able to skip the entire portion of the level while trying to avoid the instant death spikes. So at the very least, that's that. So, aside from all that stuff, though, is the fact that that's as far as I can honestly try to explain for this point today. I know that, I will let, Mighty the Armadillo will able to talk more details about the forms of other stuff in the future, because obviously, when he gets to Mega Man 5, until tomorrow for the Game Boy, then obviously he'll talk about a lot of differences between the forms of any other Game Boy Mega Man games up to that point. So, anyways, oh boy, it's gonna be a leaps of faith situation, isn't it? In fact, kind of think about it though, oh jeez, I'm a little bit nervous. Will Brush Jet will able to deal with this? Ah, dang it, that's a little bit too high. So in this case, let's reactivate him on that certain jump angle, and there we go, problem solved. I know that technically you can able to actually use Rush Coil, but it might be a bit too risky for my taste. So as a result though, I'm just gonna skip it. So, by the way, with those blocks down there, these flashing blocks right there, in order to get rid of these, it's by simply using the charge kick. So that way you can able to actually just get rid of these blocks, and sweet, another extra life, even though it seems kind of pointless because obviously my lives counter is already maxed out up to 9, so I don't think there's any point we can able to actually get that extra life, I'm afraid. Unlike, oh, there's an energy tank right there. Oh, actually, gonna think about it though, it might be seems also useless either, just because, well, as far as at that point, well, I'm pretty sure we've already filled up with not only extra lives, but also energy tanks as well. So, because I keep on thinking about the forms of the console games, basically, that you can carry up to the insane amount of those energy tanks if you wanted to, whilst compared to the forms of how it does it on Mega Man 2 and Mega Man 7, obviously you can only carry up to 4 energy tanks, so yeah, that might be something worth noting for, so... Oh, look at that, we actually stumbled across another boss, which this time it appears to be, well, as soon as I leave this menu screen. So in this case, though, we have Hunter again? Okay, fair play. At least you can able to have a rematch against with me again. So, at the very least, we can able to actually just to deal with him easily by, you know, either the Pharaoh shot or, you know, charged up Mega Buster if I can deal some bit of damage here and there. So, at the very least, there might be some consumption. And by the way, you have to find a real one, by the way, because if you stumble across the actual fake one, it does not deal any damage. So, at the very least, that's... Oh my god! Ah! God dang it! Those darn tigers! Just managed able to pounce onto me. If I kind of think about it though, this level does remind me of the forms of the Pharaoh Man Castle level sometimes, because of the forms of those godforsaken tigers. Because if you don't manage able to time your shots well enough, and if you manage able to miss certain shots with the you know, the actual tiger-like enemies, then basically your health is gonna get mauled until likely for a few moments notice. So anyways, there's another charge kick block that we can able to actually just bust out of, and after doing so already, then I'm pretty sure that we might as well meet up with, what else? Proto Man again. So in this case, let's see what item is he gonna give to me this time. He's gonna give me... Oh, what? Don't you look at that? We got ourselves the S item, which basically, like I said, did manage to reveal not only your health, but also the weapon energy as well. So, that is easily, without a doubt, the most handy item in the game. It's a shame I didn't seem to able to get the tank, sadly. That's only mainly because it was pretty expensive with all these P-chips in mind. But regardless of such though, that we almost nearly at the end, so I don't think anything else matters to me anyway, so... Anyway, so after going for this obstacle, we somehow ended up on this familiar room. Yeah, this room seems familiar to you, doesn't it? Because, even though it's kind of similar to the forms of how it does it on Mega Man 1 and 2, teleporting rooms from the Game Boy installments, although I'm pretty certain that Mega Man 3 on a Game Boy might be the only exception or something. Well, mind you though, because it has been about a couple of days since we managed able to did done Mega Man 3 on the Game Boy. So, yeah, apparently we're actually going on to the forms of the Robot Masters rematches. So in this case, this might be familiar to you if you ever played Mega Man 2 all the way up to Mega Man 11. So because of this though, thankfully you can able to actually just manage able to get your health pickup, very similar to the previous games I'm pretty sure. The only exception being Mega Man 1 on the NES, but that's only mainly because it was quite archaic. So, yeah, you get the idea. So, of course, we're going on the exact same order of those Robot Masters again, except the fact that now we can able to actually just to go ahead and, you know, get our health energy back if we managed able to deal with the forms of the final blow with certain Robot Masters and all that stuff. So, at the very least, that should be a piece of cake. So... Anyway, so you get the idea, and if you manage able to beat all 8 of those Robot Master rematches though, then I'm pretty sure that we can able to progress, so yeah, there's nothing else to it though. So anyways, let's go ahead and use our Flash Stopper, so that way we can able to just deal with Pharaoh Man. But I will have to say still, is the fact that Pharaoh Man is actually a bit harder than the forms of how it does it on the NES counterparts. That's only mainly because on the NES version, like I said, he's an absolute joke on the NES equivalent. So yeah, there goes Pharaoh Man, I guess. So, relatively speaking, because, well, relatively speaking, I should say. Well, why do I say that line twice? That doesn't make that much sense to me. But, regardless of such, though, is the fact that this will be the final time we're going to be able to try to deal with the Robot Masters until, what if we manage able to come across into even more Robot Masters in the future parts of the entire marathon? To be more specifically, what if we get to, you know, Mega Man and Base, Challenger from the future, and even Mega Man for the Game Gear, and of course, the last game, which is Mega Man The Wily Wars for the Mega Drive / Sega Genesis. So, because whenever we get into the forms of Mega Man 5 for the Game Boy though, it all brings us a bit of a different twist to it, which, I'm sure that most people already know what exactly I was about to explain. So, anyways, now we're done with the forms of the halfway point of, you know, the Robot Master rematches. So now let's go ahead and deal with Napalm Man again. Except now we can able to just take him on a different environment. So, and there he goes. Nicely done, right here. And thank God, the actual lag just managed to help me for once. Like, I know for the fact that I was being harsh to the forms of the lag in the past, but I have to admit though right away, I feel like that the lag might actually help me out a bit. Well, for the most part, most of the time. But regardless of such though, let's go and take on Stoneman next. So we can able to expect that we can able to kick his butt just like before by, you know, utilizing the Napalm Bomb. So at the very least we can able to deal some damage to this particular guy. So, oh jeez, he can be very aggressive at points in this game. Although, whenever when Ray the Flying Squirrel were able to get into the forms of in Mega Man for the Game Gear, oh man, it will be quite hellish for him. So, at the very least, good luck for Ray. So, alright, so only 2 more Robot Masters left. So, in this case, let's go ahead and equip ourselves the Charge Kick. If we managed able to take down, let's just say, I somehow managed to ended up on the wrong room. But that's okay though, because we can just simply deal with the forms of Charge Man for the final time for the sake of our Let's Play so far. So, anyways, let's go ahead and... Oh, jeez Louise. Oh god, he obviously keep running to me. But thankfully we've got some of the invincibility frames, so, and thus, energy tanks. So, at the very least, I still managed able to get these, so... Anyways, let's go ahead. Oh, come on. Why do I just try to able to jump high? But apparently, I just seriously just keep on getting screwed up some points. But at least on the upside is though is the fact that he's almost down. So, and there he goes. And it looks like we're about to take on the last Robot Master rematch, which is, well, pretty much obvious at this point. It will actually be. Well, I haven't exactly paid attention because, well, at the moment right now, I'm actually going to be able to be, Crystal Man himself. So, in this case though, let's go ahead and use our, you know, Charge Kick. So just in case we can able to deal some bit of damage right here. I know that's technically another, way you can able to actually just to get rid of him. But, regardless of such, I'm just going to do it the quicker way by, actually no matter what though, let me, change it back to, Mega Buster, so that way we'll finish him off within 1 unit of health left. Well, at least we've already killed him, so... There we go, and after that though, it takes us into the weapon refuel section. So at the very least, if you about to be running out of those weapon ammos, thankfully you can able to actually just pick up those weapon energies, so that way you can able to fill up your weapons again. Such as, for instance, I think at this point in time, I think I should probably able to actually fill up my Crystal Eye weapon, and it's weird that we never seemed able to use Bull-Age Cracker yet, and especially noticeable with the forms of, well, we have not used our Pharaoh Shot yet. That's the obvious why, is the fact that after this room, well, we come to the forms of that teleporter right here, so at the very least, we are essentially done with this level. At least whatever I think it is, anyway. In fact, this scene does remind me of something almost related to Sonic 3D Blast kind of syndrome or something. But we still got one last thing to do, and that is, well, trying to deal with Dr. Wily himself. But this time, he's got himself a bit of a gigantic robot kind of syndrome. So in this case, we have ourselves the final boss in Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll present to you Wily Robo Iron Golem. So basically, this fight has 2 forms. So in this case, here's the first form, and basically all you have to do is the fact that we need to use those hands. You know, kind of like there's a similar fight as in the forms of in Mega Man 3 for the NES, that usually for the forms of Gamma, except the fact that the biggest difference is this time, I swear, these little fists are actually kind of hard to dodge. Although, to be fair though, when you get the hang of the actual pattern, you won't be able to actually have that much trouble with. But basically, you have to hop onto one of his fists, and then you have to use the the Crystal Eye in order able to deal the damage of his weak spot, as you can see from that little glowing spot on his chest. And then basically though, after a certain amount of damage, like these, then basically you move on to the next phase, in this case the next form. So, yeah, and I have no idea why we've actually got ourselves our victory fanfare, but regardless of such though, that's basically we can able to move on to the next form. That is, Wily, Robo, Iron Golem Form 2. And this time, we're able to use our new weapon that we have not used yet throughout the majority of the game. So in this case, let's use our Bullet Cracker. So basically what this does is the fact that, well, it'll cause the explosion. So that's pretty much about it. By the way, with this particular form, that's his weakness, by the way. So because of that, though, I seriously swear to God, that attack is kind of impossible to dodge sometimes. But anyways, you have to aim as soon as when his mouth is open. So that way, it gets the hint about the fact that you have to be so accurate with all his shots. So because of that though, it's not too bad when you get the hang of it though. But I seriously swear to God, that attack is quite impossible to dodge. But anyway, let's go ahead and deal with him with the final blow. And there goes, the forms the second form of the forms of that pretty cool, you know, Golem, as far as I like to point things out. So, yeah, there goes Wily, Robo, Iron, Golem, Form 2. So, nicely done. But, of course, we still have not done yet, because obviously, that we now need to fight against with, obviously, Wily Capsule itself. Just like in any other Mega Man games up to this point. So, yeah, we can able to expect this much. So, now I think it does have its weakness though, very similar to the forms of how it does it in Mega Man 4 on the NES. Then I'm pretty sure that it might be seems very obvious. It will be Pharaoh Shot. So, yeah, let's go ahead and, well, I kind of think about it though, with the forms of that particular, Bullet Cracker right here, with that particular weapon, it does not affect on that particular Wily Capsule, so I think it's best advice. Although, you can technically try to still deal with the damage right there, but regardless of such though, it's just the fact I have no idea why I've just managed able to use that in the first place, but anyway, it's gonna have to do this the hard way, I guess. And this particular boss is actually kind of challenging. This is most notably because, as you can tell, every time when Dr. Wily just managed able to drop that particular bomb onto any floor tiles whatsoever, basically it creates a bottomless pit, and if you fall off, then obviously you have to start the fight all over again. Thankfully you don't push all the way back into that Dr. Wily Golem again, so at the very least you can able to actually, like, if you get a game over or something, basically though, you can able to continue where you left off. So, and there goes Dr. Wily for the 4th time for this marathon. And of course, that's, yeah, obviously he'll just do that begging for forgiveness again. But, why has he got himself like a backpack or something like that? Oh, I see what that is. I'm guessing he's trying to escape, isn't he? Well, at least if whatever I think it is. Well, he's raising his eyebrows, and sure enough, he got away. Terrific on him. In this case, typical of Dr. Wily, so... Oh, what's going on here? Oh, this isn't good. It looks like this entire place is about to explode. So we're gonna have to... Oh, what? Those darn security doors just trying to able to block our progression. But at the very least, we can able to use the Maker Buster, so... Even though this cinematic scene is automated, so I don't think you can able to press anything, so... At the very least, it's like a cinematic scene, so... Ah, darn it, it's a dead end! Ah, jeez, what can we do now? Well, the normal Maker Buster and a charged up Maker Buster don't do any effect, and... What the heck? Isn't that... Bullet? I thought you were dead. I have no idea. It's just for video game logic, I guess, so... Why are you here? Stop, Bullet. You're badly injured. I know, Mega Man. After our battle, I realized that I was wrong. This is all I can do for you. Now. Goodbye, Bullet. So he's gonna commit suicide? Oh, we're getting sucked up! But I'm sure that Rush were able to save me at the very least. So there goes Wily Station, in this case the actual spaceship, so yeah, I guess that's that. And thankfully, Rush did manage to save me after all, so... And my guess is the fact that Dr. Wily's got away again, which is pretty much expected at this point. And I think, fundamentally speaking, that was it for the likes of Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy. So yeah, again, kind of short, but it can be felt a bit lengthy this time as opposed to the forms of how it does on the first two Game Boy games of Mega Man games. So let's give my final thoughts of Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy. Overall, it's actually not that bad after this installment. I mean, sure it does have some rehashed moments here and there, but regardless of such though, what makes this game a little bit different than the forms of how it does in the majority of the NES games, as well as the forms of the three Game Boy games, is the fact that I do really like the fact that they added in the shop menu, which that was before, you know, Mega Man 7 was a thing, and especially noticeable for Mega Man 8, Mega Man 9, and 10, and Mega Man and Base, including Mega Man and Base Challenger from the future, so at the very least that the shopping menu was now a thing. So, anyway, for visual standpoints, pretty much unchanged any forms of how it does it on the NES games, I'm pretty sure. And the music itself is actually not that bad to listen to. I mean, sure enough, this is on the Game Boy, of course, so as a result though, I really do enjoy these music like this. And the gameplay itself, you know, still a traditional style of Mega Man, classic style of gameplay, I obviously enjoy it as much. So, as a result though, yeah, there's not much going off to this point right here. I do apologize if my commentary gets a little bit more, I don't know, iffy at points, but, regardless of such though, I think I should probably take a break on, recording sessions on this from now on, because after all, the weather itself is actually not too shabby today, because as a result, sunny and all that stuff, so yeah, you get the idea about that, so I digress. And the controls wise are pretty good for the most part. I mean, there are a few times that I did not somehow jump somehow, so, but regardless of everything else though, I think suffice to say, this is a solid installment of the forms of the Game Boy Mega Man games, I'm pretty sure. Especially noticeable because they actually managed to improve upon something. Thankfully, the difficulty wasn't all that unfair this time, compared to the forms of how it does it in Mega Man 3 for the Game Boy. That's mainly because of how the fact that it has a lot of emphasis on spikes in Mega Man 3 on the Game Boy. But regardless of such though, that's as far as I can able to appreciate about the actual, like, you know, tone down the difficulty and stuff like that, but, hey, at least that's something, I guess. And, yeah, that's pretty much as far as I can say in terms of Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy. I actually really enjoyed this installment, and I'm sure that, most people seemed able to enjoy this particular Let's Play, basically, so far. Especially noticeable, I'm presuming so anyway, that we actually done 4 games now, so I believe we're now onto the halfway point of this entire marathon, so... yeah, we're actually getting pretty close, kind of thinking about it, because as a result, we've only got 4 games left. Well, mind you, there's only one more Game Boy game we're going to be tackling through, and one of them involves around with the Bandai Wonders one, and one for the Sega Game Gear, and the final one will be on the Mega Drive / Sega Genesis. So, not counting the forms of that particular bootleg ROM hacks or anything else like that, because bootlegs do not count, because obviously bootlegs are quite infamous for most of these games every now and then, especially on Game Boy's case, because, dear lord, they managed to screw up everything for the likes of the forms of the bootleg Sonic games for that matter on a Game Boy, but that's a completely different story, but regardless of such though, that's as far as I can usually try to say about this for the sake of time, so... but I digress. So, yeah, obviously in this credit sequence right there, it shows us the actual roll call for the actual Robot Masters, including the Mega Man Killer, which is Bolade. So, yeah, that's basically how this goes. And after that, though, it cuts straight into the forms of, once again, Mega Man just sees the actual, the distance and the actual thing itself, just like in the forms of how it does in Mega Man 1, or in this case Dr. Wily's Revenge, and Mega Man 2, and especially noticeable with, I would say, Mega Man 3, or something like that. So, yeah, thank you so much for watching of our Let's Play of Mega Man 4 for the Game Boy, and this is me, Silver the Hedgehog, from the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, and up next, for the likes of the forms of the Mega Man Marathon 2 selections of Let's Plays, up next it will be the finale, in terms of the forms of the Game Boy Mega Man games. Yes, we're hitting on to Mega Man 5, for the Game Boy. And this time we're able to set things up completely different, and hopefully that game will be a lot more different than the forms of how it does it from the previous Game Boy Mega Man games, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later, fellas.